Hey guys, it's Paradise, and we've got a big update dropping for Monster Hunter Wilds on August 13th, which is pretty soon now, and sooner than expected if you missed the recent news. But maybe there is a reason for that, and today we're going to talk about why Capcom might now be speeding things up, as well as what's coming in the new update and how it falls into the bigger picture of Wild's current state. Now let me put you onto something real quick if you love fantasy and strategy games, because this video's sponsor is Elemental Reforged. This is the definitive remaster of one of the most ambitious Fantasy 4X games ever attempted, but it's now finally brought back to life the way it was meant to be. Originally released as Elemental War of the Magic back in 2010, now 15 years later it's been fully rebuilt in a modern 64-bit engine, fusing the best parts from War of Magic, Fallen Enchantress, and Sorcerer King into one complete experience. You can create your hero, build your cities, and shape the world, where every unit has a backstory, different stats, gear, and personalities, with rich quest lines, tactical combat, integrated modding tools, and a new UI. So if you love fantasy games, check out Elemental Reforged using the link below and wishlist it now. Now, here's the thing. Regardless of opinion, Monster Hunter Wilds absolutely crushed it at launch. It has over 8 million copies sold in just 3 days, and more than 10 million in the first month. It was the best-selling game in the US earlier this year, but since then, well, sales have kind of nosedived. Capcom just released their quarterly financials, and Wilds moved 477,000 units between April and June. This does sound like a lot, and it's nearly 500,000, but that is just barely ahead of Monster Hunter Rise's sales in that same period, which is now 4 years old. Not only was Wilds 9th on Capcom's sales list, it didn't even chart in the top 20 games overall in June sales. So it's clear there is a massive drop in sales since its launch momentum, which is showing a real slowdown in interest. Honestly, I think this won't surprise many players, as much of the community have been very vocal about it. The endgame being too thin and streamlined, especially for a franchise built around long-term grind and challenge. The performance on PC is still a mess, with crashes, stutters, and inconsistent frame rates across different types of rigs. And while new content is coming, the updates have felt slower and more spread out, leaving people with little reason to log back in and really stick with the game. In fact, Capcom have even acknowledged that Wild's sales were soft and that player sentiment is mixed. Now, don't get it wrong, Wilds does still do a lot of things right, and it's a really fun game at its core. It just needs some polishing on those few aspects to really be something that shines. It's a game that obviously we still play and check in on the updates and enjoy hunting, but there are those issues that need fixing to take it to a whole new level. Overall, it's good to call out these issues and get things heard so they'll be fixed, but some fans have taken things way too far by harassing the developers, which is never okay. The dev team are passionate and working hard to improve things, and I think it's fair to assume that at a big company things take time, testing, approval, and so on. So honestly, even though it might be taking too long, I think time is probably what's needed. But this does all show how passionate the Monster Hunter community is, and how much pressure Capcom is under to turn things around. So now let's talk about Title Update 3, what and why they're releasing part of the update early. Because this was supposed to be fully included in Title Update 3, but it's been brought forward and is now dropping in the new update version on August 13th. First, we're getting a whole new level of quest difficulty. This was originally planned for September, but is now coming sooner, so this mode is meant to push experienced hunters with tougher fights and, more importantly, unique quest rewards. Tougher fights is a welcome addition, as this has been a core part of feedback for the community for a while now. The recent monsters being added in have been a blast, but I still feel the difficulty isn't quite where many want it to be, and maybe this will change that. Personally, I've been holding out for something interesting like collab quests to mix things up. Maybe something akin to Extreme Behemoth from World, or even something like Kolv Taroth to keep things interesting in the endgame. Well, a whole new level of quest might be exactly what the endgame is needing, but the rewards will be a part of that, and they tie directly into one of the biggest new systems coming. Now, this is huge because Wilds is getting a brand new Talisman crafting system that is sure to mix things up. And I want to talk about this for a sec, because we're going to be using materials that we earn from these new tougher quests to create new talismans with randomized skills and decoration slots, including exclusive skills that are normally locked to weapons or armor. So this could seriously shake up everyone's builds, the meta sets, and the overall progression of the game if done right. We don't know how grindy or RNG heavy it will be, but it's got potential to bring back that one more hunt addicting feeling that we all love. I just really hope there is some control over the RNG, because the random charms from Rise, the random decorations from World, or the augment system from Sunbreak was at times pretty brutal to get what you actually want. That being said, maybe the endgame needs something to keep you chasing it, because currently Wilds is so streamlined, there isn't that much time needed to be spent to grind and finish out your sets, but what do you think? On top of all of this, we're getting a bunch of weapon buffs coming for the dual blades, hunting horn, lance, light bowgun, and heavy bowgun. But there is more. Capcom says additional weapon adjustments are coming with the update, but they're keeping it under wraps for now. We don't know for sure the full extent of the buffs and if it will only be those weapons, so we'll have to wait and see what we're actually getting, and hopefully it's more than just numeric changes. Maybe we actually see some new moves or something like that. But Capcom have been very good with the weapon changes so far. I would say it's been one of their strongest points in actually implementing changes post-launch, so I expect some good things there. Sacred Riding has definitely been a point of contention for many, with it being a bit tricky to control and having its own quirks. Well, we're also getting major improvements to help with turning, faster dismounting, and smoother map usage. World map navigation with the D-pad is also being made more intuitive, and these small changes are definitely welcome and do add up, especially ones like this that affect minute-to-minute gameplay, so everything should just feel better. Now, we have mentioned it before, but in case you missed it, the Flamefete Festival has also been extended to run till August 13th when this new update comes out. So if you haven't grabbed the cosmetics, the Palico gear, or done your event quest grinding, you've really got no excuses. Get on it before the festival ends. Now, I do want to highlight that while this update is coming sooner and it is exciting and it brings things the game definitely needs, it will not be bringing any new monsters. These are still planned and coming in Title Update 3 in late September, and then again in Title Update 4 this winter. So we're looking at Title Update 3 adding new monsters, a new festival, expanded endgame content, and other improvements. Then in winter we have Title Update 4 adding another new monster, tougher endgame challenges, another festival, and likely continued quality of life and balance tweaks. Capcom have also specifically called out Artian weapons as staying viable in the endgame. This could be a hint at some kind of upgrade or augment system being added in Title Update 3 or 4, because they specifically say they want Artian weapons to remain competitive to the endgame and still be worthwhile even after all of the additional content is added on. So I expect some kind of expansion to the Artian system that won't nullify your currently crafted ones from being endgame viable and strong. So whatever grind you've done for Artian weapons, it should be safe to say they will still be viable. Now, is this the start of a turnaround moment for Monster Hunter Wilds? The early drop of these endgame systems might be enough to re-engage any lapsed players and build momentum again. The game still needs fixes to performance, slightly more consistent updates, and ideally new monsters added at a faster pace, but these are all issues the devs are well aware of. So I hope we see impactful improvements on these fronts coming soon. Wilds has all the ingredients of a great Monster Hunter game, it just needs to land the post-launch support and improvements faster than it has so far, and hopefully this update is the start of them turning that around and implementing faster improvements. We will of course be covering the full patch when it drops, so be sure to subscribe for that. But what do you think of everything? Is the new update enough to bring you back, or are you still waiting for something bigger before diving back in? Tell us down below and we'll have you covered when more information drops. Here at Arekkz Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.